All right, let's take a look at solving this system by graphing the lines. You'll probably notice right off the bat that the problem here is that you have these decimals. So what I recommend doing in that case would be multiplying everything by 10. And how did I know that? Like, why 10 and not 100? It's because we're in the 10th spot, right? Like the lowest one, like if this had been like 0.54, then to get rid of the decimal, you would have had to have multiplied everything by 100, right? But watch, if we multiply everything by 10, the decimals just move over and we get an equation 5x. So I'm just doing the top one. We're writing this right. 0.5 times 10 is 5. So 5x minus 4y. And then this makes this number quite a lot larger is the only problem. But so we get 4,300 now. Okay. And the other equation we have, here, I'm going to write the other equation maybe in red just to differentiate them. And I'm going to write it over on the side. So this one would be 5x, right? I'm just right here multiplying that by 10. And then minus 7y. And then plus 4,900. And sorry, in the last one I forgot this should be equal to 0. I should have wrote that on the last one as well. So that's equal to 0. All right, so from there, now what I have to do if I want to graph these is I need to write it in the form y is equal to mx plus b, right? I want it to be y is equal to this so that I can actually figure out my y-intercept, figure out my slope, and go from there. Now, really, that just means I have to get y on its own. So let's do that for our blue line here first. So what I'll do is I'll bring this 5x over to the other side. So right now this is like positive 5x. So if I bring it over here, it'll be minus 5x. Really, I'm subtracting 5x from both sides, right? Okay. Anyway, so we've got negative 4y. And I've still got plus, come on, pen, plus 4,300 is equal to negative 5x. Okay, so from there, I'm going to move the 4,300 over. So it's positive on this side. So it would be negative on the other. Okay, so now I've got negative 4y is equal to negative 5x minus 4,300. And then from here, make sure you don't add 4. That's a common mistake because right now we have negative 4 times y. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. And when I say divide, we have to divide each term by negative 4. All right, so what do we have left? We've got y is equal to, so now negative 5 divided by negative 4 is just 5 over 4x. And then negative, so 4,300 divided by 4. Does it go in? It does. And it was a negative divided by a negative. Okay, so that was that, right? Yeah. So negative divided by negative, so this is coming out positive. So this is positive, whatever that number was I just found. Man, my memory's terrible. Okay, 1,075. All right, so now I can graph that, right? So I'll be able to graph that line. So now we're going to do the same thing for the red line. So I'll bring the 5x over and the 4,900 over. So we get negative 7y is equal to, so I'm just doing both at the same time here now, right? Negative 5x minus 4,900 divide by negative 7, divide everything by negative 7. So we get y is equal to, negative divided by a negative becomes positive, so 5 over 7x. All right, and then negative divided by a negative becomes positive. And then this is just 700. All right, so that's our second equation. So we can graph that now. All right, so how do we graph that? Well, we can use our graphing calculator. It's probably going to be the easiest way. So if you get probably your TI-84, you might have a TI Inspire, or maybe some other calculator. But let's graph both of these now. So I'm going to hit y is equal to, clear out any old equations, and then we've got 5 over 4x plus 1075. All right, so that's my first line here. And then I'm going to push down to y2. So we get 5 over 7 x plus 700. All right, so now the next step is just to hit graph. And you'll notice something. So you probably didn't have this window. I'll go back. You probably would have had this window to start with, right? And nothing happened, right? Like what's going on here? Well, I just can't see it. My window's too small, right? But we can use a couple of little hints to figure out where we need to be. This first one here, right? This is plus 1075. That means I have a y-intercept at 1075, right? So I only see up to 10 right now. I need to see at least up to 1075. So I need to see a lot higher, right? So let's do this. We'll hit your window. And then what I want to change is this y max. So I start seeing higher. So let's change that one. So let's make it even, 1500 right now. Let's see what we get. Okay. So good enough. We see that we do have lines. The next problem is I'm just not seeing far enough to the right. So let's try changing our x max. So x max right now is set to 10. Let's just try out like 100, right? Make it quite a lot bigger. Oh, and I'm starting to see I'm actually going the wrong direction. It's actually to the other direction, right? You see it's starting to like open up. So they're probably going to cross over here somewhere. So let's do that. So it wasn't the x max that had to be that much bigger. It's the x minimum. So I'm going to say negative. And then it looked like I still had a long way to go. So like, let's even say like 1,000. There you go. So that's good enough. So now I can actually see where they cross, right? So from here, let's calculate this, right? We want to calculate where they actually cross. So that's going to be this calculate button. So hit second, calculate. And then we're interested in the intersection. So you're either going to hit 5 or scroll down. So 5. Now it just says first curve, so this actually doesn't matter. I can click anything. Like it doesn't matter where it is on this line. It just wants to know, is it the blue line you're talking about? So I say yes. And now it says, is it the red line, the second line you're talking about? So the second curve, I say yes. And now it says take a guess. So what it's going to do is it's going to try to find where those lines cross. So these lines have an intersection at negative 700 and 200. So that's our point. Okay, so our solution to this system of equations, you could write it as the point negative 700, comma 200.